Do you know why we call it the Cloud9 podcast?
Got a ring to it.
I don't know. I don't think those words are strung together just for coincidence.
Everything over here is
What you coughing on there, bud?
Just one of God's greatest gifts to the earth.
heroin.
Nigga, no. What? Nah, just a little THC, man.
Do you know
Hmm?
exact strain you're smoking there, bud?
THC crumbled turbo lemon. Has
That's
a
valid.
nice ring to it.
Yeah, it's pretty valid.
How about a brief introduction of ourselves?
My name is Delo Dilo, and damn.
Then you want to go next, or you want me
Yeah.
to go?
Yo, you just dropped my government? Yo,
Huh?
you just dropped the government? You need to chill. You need to chill. I'm a man that
I'm
goes by many
horrible as
names. Y'all can call me Rambo. Hold on, I forgot to mention. I'm 6'7", 200 pounds straight muscle, and I drive a Lamborghini.
Shit, what up? It's Mick. You already know what it is, but for real, I mean, we're here to talk about some good conversations. Yeah, niggas be scared to take breaks when they first get the job.
You know me, I'll take that break. I ain't gonna lie. Actually,
You
no, I'm
know,
not even that type of worker for real. For real. I work hard. Fuck a break.
I mean, I'd be working
Shit.
hard, but there's some days where I'm just off. Yeah, I'd take that break early as fuck.
Man, let me tell you about one time I was doing electrical work, and I was the only person on top of like a gigantic switch gear, like pulling in these fat ass cables, bruh. And when I say that shit took the vitality out of me, bro, it was like I had 1 HP left out that bitch. I went home, I went to sleep, and I woke up like the next day at like 10:30, 11, and I had missed work, and I was like, fuck it, dog. I'm drained, dog.
Yeah, that shit
Like
sounds
them
depressing.
motherfuckers.
Damn, that should
Uh,
take your soul.
I woke up the next day and I was like, I can't even describe it. It's just like you don't even have the
Wait,
energy to think.
I
slavery
You
feel it.
didn't
wake
That's
up and it's like,
slavery didn't feel
oh, I'm
good.
still. Nah, I was like tired, bro. Like I had like, well, I was about to say something, but I forgot we're on podcast. God damn it. Dog, it's very draining. It's like being a dead battery.
that should really take your
Mm,
soul.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah,
I, mean,
no.
I
But
think
then
we should
again,
really talk about how slaving is really fucked up. They got you slaving out here, man.
yeah, but see, that's the thing. It's an intrinsic part of society. Like, you're always gonna have people that want things, people that make life easier, and in return, they want something. That happens to be money. Money, I believe, is the root of all evil. I mean, you don't see animals going around trading coins and shit, but I mean, they do trade like rocks and shit like that, but they haven't commoditized it to where it's pure indentured servitude that's perpetual. Like it's fucking crazy nowadays. Like the price of a house, like for instance, a 3 bedroom house back in the 70s, I believe, was like 800 a month, but now it's not 800 anymore. My buddy that told me about his grandparents that own a condo in Florida, I think it was 3K a month way back when for it, but now like the price tag has shot up over like 110%. It's fucking ridiculous, bro. Niggas are paying arms and legs for just little small spaces. It's almost turning into like a Japan. When Japan has those extremely small apartments and shit. I don't understand it,
Yeah,
man.
I know what you said. Money is the root of all evil. How y'all feel about that?
I mean, like America has definitely got its demonic ways for sure. I definitely
Yep.
do feel like we are cast under a spell on where like there's just a lot of negativity going around this bitch, a lot of separation, a
We
lot of
wear
division.
torture as like a badge nowadays.
Definitely, money does play a part in like in this cruel system. It's definitely a leverage to have, because
Hmm.
anyone with a lot of money is basically quote unquote escaping the matrix, and what that really means is just being free. You know what I mean? No other extra bullshit. It's just escaping matrix is just
Hmm.
having freedom.
My take on it, as far as the money being the root of all evil, I wouldn't say money is the root of all evil. I'd say desire is the root of all evil, not money.
We all do want a lot of things. I mean, like me personally, I can really go with less. Like I was talking to my girl about this the other day. Like I can live life with like nothing. And like, I know that sounds like It sounds like bullshit, right? Because someone like me, right, who basically had a roof over his head his whole life, is saying that
Mm-hmm.
he can live without nothing. But I truly believe I really could. You feel me? And still be perfectly happy. You know, just like whatever my situation, like what I was taught as growing up is just whatever your situation is just stay in a good mood. You feel me? Like conduct good vibration, be happy. You know what I'm saying? Like life is too short to be sad. Life is too short to be miserable. You know what I'm saying? Because there's people out there that don't even. No, I'm not even gonna get into that though. But
No, you can get into it.
no,
Get into it.
but long story short though, bro. You know what I'm saying? I can definitely live without materialistic things. You know what I'm saying? Like I truly have no desire of anything, and a desire plays a big part within material things and even inner self battles
I agree.
because a lot of people desire a better version of themselves, but they should really just realize the fact that like there is no path. You feel me? There is no spiritual journey. You feel me? It's today. It's now. Is what you learn in the now. You know what I'm saying? Because everything is just happening now. It should be every day should be a moment in life thing for you. You feel me? And that should give you way much more control of your reality and what's happening around you. So, with that being said, you have a better chance of being happy if you just live in the moment and live without desire. You know what I'm saying? Because the best way you can possibly run into something is without desiring it, and that can lead into the law of attraction. You feel me? I mean, just mindlessly, just don't think about it. You feel me? Obviously, still work towards it, still go hard for it, but it's not like your life is over if it doesn't happen. You feel me?
I don't know. I feel like desire is a thing that blinds us a lot of the time. I don't I don't really get along with it. I try not to indulge in it, but sometimes I do find myself doing so. I don't like that word.
This nigga having flashbacks and shit, right?
You said desire can blind you. Elaborate on that.
But when desire becomes so strong and you know how the brain releases chemicals and you get that desire, that drive, it can blind you from other aspects of life to where you end up being a one-dimensional person.
Elaborate what you mean by one
You
dimensional
lose
pair.
sight of the things that matter, and a lot of things matter in life. But if you're focusing on one sole thing, you're gonna miss out on a lot more. I think the key is just to be a super well-rounded individual.
So when you say one
Think
dimensional, you're just talking about a way of
just a
thinking.
very narrow vision.
Yeah, yeah, a narrow way of thinking. Yeah, not open minded at all. Yeah, no, that's definitely how to live life though. Definitely got to be open minded about shit. What about you, E or
Oh,
Rambo?
Rambo. It's not the whole government. That's good. It says the whole government, first, middle, last. Damn,
Oh
nigga.
god, it's
Whoa,
tempted.
whoa,
It's tempted.
whoa,
I mean, I
government.
really could just say it, just bleep it out.
Now we definitely got to bleep out. Actually, no, that's good. I don't care if people know my first name. But
He said, "Well, yeah, yeah. Why you don't want to go? Why you don't want to allow your full name, huh? Huh?"
I don't know.
You mean the states of the United States of America? Damn.
Nah, we might have to bleep out when Mick said my name. I ain't gonna lie. I might have to bleep that shit out.
No, I'm gonna bleep it out though. Does it bleep it out?
But what was the question? So
Your
I'll make sure I
desires.
answer. I definitely desire, and there is a benefit to not desiring at all. Definitely overcoming desire. Getting to the point where you don't desire nothing. That is a very fruitful state of being to be at for sure.
Man, the desire to not desire.
When you don't desire something, you're liberated from wanting anything, and when you don't want
Yep.
anything, you have already. It's a state of being where you already have. You don't want, so therefore you already have.
Right? Say I want to get rich. Right?
Okay.
I'm not stressing about it, but in the back of my head, that's always going to be my ideal life. Right? In the back, that's the vision I see in the back of my head. Right?
Yep. Yep.
So, is that me unknowingly desiring it? You feel me? Because just because I'm not on the topic 24/7 doesn't mean I'm not desiring it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can still be desiring it and not really know for real. You were talking about having desire not to desire. Well, yeah, well, Mick said that. Then you're just gonna have the desire of not desiring. You feel me? I mean, the only way I can think about it is honestly just get rid of the word desire completely. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
If you simply just don't want to desire anything, I mean, just get rid of the concept of it and just look at everything as the same. You know, so everything to you will be at the same value and equality.
As far as me desiring mindlessly, no, I do definitely live with intention, and I definitely desire things with intent, or do desire purposefully or consciously. As far as not having desire, like I said, it definitely is beneficial to your state of being, because if you don't want anything, you feel me? That type of state of being where you don't seek or want anything, it's a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Blissful. But at the same token, if there isn't anything you want, then I don't see I can't see a person who doesn't want anything doing anything that'll get them anything if they are already satisfied internally, or in other words, don't have desire. So if someone didn't desire or didn't have no desire, it kind of be like a leaf in the wind to an extent.
I
But what was
mean,
the original question? To make sure I didn't get off.
no, you're right on target there, bud. But I mean, like, what I wanted to add on to that though, and emphasize on is that I mean, like, having desire definitely does affect your living. You know what I'm saying? Like the way you live. It's like an invisible wall out through your day. And that leads you down to a narrow way of thinking. Good to really just have a free mind and be open minded, like Mix said a couple minutes ago. You feel me? Be open minded and really just let desire just not play a part in your life. That shit will definitely have you start like your value on the world. Like it starts fucking up your value on the world. You know what I'm saying? Like you desire something so much that you really forget like what's important for real. You feel me? And that's like that's the world. You know what I'm saying? That's the universe. Your own consciousness itself. Like niggas be like, oh yeah, there's so much to explore outside inside the universe. But you should also gotta understand within you there's a universe too, bro. Your whole consciousness itself is like a manifested universe within you, bro. You know what I mean? So you are the universe experiencing itself. Let that shit sink in.
I feel it. I feel it.
I like to talk about the power of the mind for a second and why desire is one of the biggest obstacles we face being human. So, I forgot where it was specifically, but there was this monk in protest, right? So, monks spend a lot of time meditating and whatnot. So, in protest, he lit himself on fire while he was like in the meditation stance. And he didn't scream, he didn't flinch, he didn't yell. While the fire had completely engulfed him, he was still sitting there in his pose and he burned to death. But it's a spectacle to see, like, the power of the mind. This guy was completely on fire for like a cause that he believed in, but because his mind was so strong, he literally, his protest made a statement because of how strong his mind was.
Or your conclusion from that.
A strong mind can make a very tough person to where they almost seem superhuman. That's why my Batman would have to be my favorite character, only because that nigga's human, but at the same time, his mind is disciplined so much that he's able to be on par with the strongest of fucking people.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to that mindset as well. Definitely, you gotta be that way nowadays.
So, all right. And
World
speaking
is.
of that, though, right? Not to
Mm-hmm.
cut you off, right? Mindset wise, right? Having a role model definitely plays a big part in your life. You feel
Oh
me?
yeah,
And it's definitely harder for younger kids these days to have that type of
agreed,
mindset, for sure.
agreed. You got social media. You still have like the hierarchy in the schools and junk like that. Because I went to high school with some people that just absolutely didn't try, didn't graduate. They would always sleep in class, and it's like Maybe there's more to that than meets the eye, but to me,
Yeah.
graduating high school was one of the things that I did. I was never gonna feel high school. I guess I just used to go to sleep. I was that guy that could go to sleep and still pass the test.
I feel that.
And
Yeah. I mean, like, high school was definitely a trip for me, bro.
it was a trip.
So everyone who don't know, I'm graduating, right? But ever since a youngin', right? Like I think like around fifth or sixth grade, I was getting in trouble a lot. So they put me up inside of special ed classes and shit. And ever since then, bro, school got so much easier. But it kind of affected my education at the same time. Like I didn't learn as much more. You feel me? And it definitely skipped out on my education. And I was definitely behind a lot more. And honestly, it demotivated me. You know what I'm saying? If that's even a word to even
No, I just. Well, it's applicable nonetheless. If it isn't, but keep going.
okay.
You felt unmotivated.
Yeah, unmotivated. Yeah, to like even do school at that point. You feel me? So when I got up to high school, right? Like I didn't know shit. Like I was still passing geometry tests somehow. Like this was so weird. Like, all right, so quick little side story. Like I went to summer school one day, had to go take this test for geometry. Didn't know anything. I just went ahead and just did that shit randomly. Guess I had some type of precision with it. You feel me? Like I tried to be somewhat smart with my answer choosing. You know what I'm saying? I still read it and shit, but I honestly didn't know anything. You feel me? Honestly, just mindlessly guessing. And with that being said, I passed that bitch. You feel me? So that's how much effort I put into school. Right there. That's as much effort you'll ever get out of me. You feel me? And I just passed that.
Hmm.
I passed that shit, bro. I got a degree somehow, bro. And it's wild. There's people out here who definitely dropped out of high school and made it. My mindset back then, bro. Like shit, bro. Bro, my mindset all the way into like even senior year, bro. Like senior year is mad different. Like I grown so much since my senior year, bro. Like just like mentally, feel me, like spiritually wise. When I say that, you know what I mean? Like I'm way more like just aware and like not even like aware, like because if you would have talked to me back in senior year, I would have told you that yeah I'm aware, but I'm way more aware back then than I was back then, bro. Like I feel like I'm in control of everything that I do, and like honestly like it's a big mood switcher for me, bro. Like I feel like I can effectuate through any of my dopamines at any time of the day and just like be really my best self. With that being said though, I definitely wasn't in that type of mindset when I was like in sophomore year and shit. I just wanted shit too fast. You feel me?
Hmm.
I definitely drove myself crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause at the end of the day, all I want to do is be successful. You know what I mean? And I was driving myself
100%.
crazy in high school, bro. I was like, man, how am I gonna be successful? I'm barely passing it through high school. You feel me? Like, how the fuck am I gonna be
Mm.
successful? Your mind be all over the place, and it'll really fuck up your reality. Really fuck up the moment. You really start forgetting and disconnecting yourself with life itself. You know what I'm saying? Because you be so prioritized and focused on something else, you really start losing who you truly are. And most of the part, you never even knew who you were at first. You feel me? In my eyes, like I was really chasing a part of me that wasn't there yet. You feel me? Like I just gotta go with the flow type shit. Right? And I feel like that's for everyone. I feel like everyone just needs to go with the flow and let shit just play out. You know, if you see opportunity, take it.
Agreed, agreed. And opportunity is a weird thing, man. And then sometimes it can come when we don't even expect it. Sometimes we are expecting it. But the important thing is when it doesn't happen, when you don't get your way, is one thing I want to talk about. So I don't even like the concept of failure. I think that's just stupid and it categorizes and it takes away from the experience of actually learning new things because life is very interesting, but I feel like classifying people as winners or losers is just terrible. I think a statement that Neil deGrasse Tyson made, one of the big time scientists, for every human that exists, think about the humans that don't exist. And so these things happen to where we're able to experience life. And I guess it's something to be grateful for. Because I like to think about like the people that didn't get chances at life, like stillborn babies and terminally ill children and stuff like that, and even adults and teenagers that are just terminally ill or don't get to experience life for what it can actually be.
How does what you just said revert back to opportunity?
For people that have okay lives, we squander opportunities that people that are lying in hospital beds would kill to get a second chance at.
What I'm really trying to figure out is he said that they didn't really get to feel the full enjoyment of life. I feel like a lot of people are like stuck on that. Like a lot of people are stuck on like what really is the full enjoyment of life. You feel me? Like
I
why?
wouldn't say it's even about enjoyment. I would just say the management of life. How you manage life
Yes,
will pretty much end up being your perception of it, which of course is
facts,
true.
facts.
And that's something I still struggle with myself, but perception is everything, man.
Yeah,
It really is.
yeah, and is sometimes it doesn't even be on the human's fault. Sometimes it doesn't even be the consciousness fault of the management. It can be the environment of the consciousness. You feel me? And that can manage the consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how people be like niggas be sheeps. You know what I'm
Um,
saying? Like in the environment, everyone be the same. Everyone be clones of each other.
you mentioned how the environment can affect someone's consciousness. In what ways can an environment affect someone's consciousness or the way they are?
So, for instance, right? Say someone is managing. Say someone is living life, right? Managing their life, right? In their environment, they have a lot of alcohol problem, right? And they grow up around people drinking around them a lot. A day may come where a family member, friend may offer that one consciousness a drink and will drink it. For there now, he starts drinking it to basically just help him solve his problems. You feel me? Like, is using it as a coping mechanism. Like, when shit gets stressful, shit gets scary, or when you don't want to feel anything for real, and I mean, like a lot of people just will turn to alcohol, and and that alcohol itself will damage your perception of life because you're no longer living a pure reality of sobriety. You feel me? You are now living in a reality of where you're always drunk all the time. Feel me? Or you're always high all the time. Sober definitely plays a big part on managing your reality. So if you're anybody out there who's listening to this podcast and you're coping your problems with drugs, you're never gonna find the real answer when you're high, because everything is fucked, bro. You gotta be sober. Figure that shit out yourself.
So I drink a lot of beer. I don't do liquor too much, but I definitely agree with what he's saying because I drink when I'm bored or I drink when I'm upset. And like those things, like they really mess with the way your brain has pretty much adapted to life, but with the use of drugs and whatnot, it can literally damage your perspective on existence. Cause it's like you feel like a deflated balloon, and then you grab that beer or you grab that cigarette or something, or for other people who do other kinds of drugs, I'm sure it's the same for them. um
You know?
it's so easy to get caught up into drugs, which is why, like, so I've done a quite bit of drugs, but not no serious shit. And like, it definitely changes your perspective on life. But imagine if you could have that perspective completely sober. And it is possible, but it's not easy.
I got a question for you.
What's
Hmm.
up?
All right, whoever answers first, is to its own. But what are your thoughts slash opinions on emotion?
Emotions are like glasses that you're sometimes forced to wear, but you know that you don't need them, but you should consider them. Because emotions are,
Facts.
that's the downfall of a lot of people right there, emotions.
Facts,
You
facts.
have them, but you have that 24/7 task of managing them. It's almost like taking care of a bunch of kids inside your head. Because you know when you feel a certain way and your body reacts, you know you're feeling that way. But the key is to indulge in things that help you manage your emotions that doesn't involve other people, like hobbies and whatnot.
To have purity within your emotions, and I agree with everything that makes sense, and also have a clear mind. Like that
Hmm.
would definitely make the purity of your emotions accurate of how you really should be feeling. You feel me? Because a lot of people get the wrong emotions towards the wrong things. You know what I'm saying? So they're generally on recent occasions they will basically act out of character, and it will be with little situations, right? Like the line will be too long. They start getting frustrated. They start getting mad. You feel me? Like, why are you getting mad for it? You know what I'm saying? Calm down. You know what I mean? It's just simple shit, right? And it really just fucks up your whole reality, right? So definitely understanding why you're getting mad is definitely key, and understanding your emotion and what's the reason for it, and really just try to figure out if it's even the right emotion to feel for it, right?
Hmm.
And just for example, if people don't understand this, it's like imagine someone's death, right? Like there's two ways you can perceive that shit. You can perceive it and be like, yeah, that person is forever gone. Or you can perceive it and be like, nature just took its course. You feel me? His consciousness is going to experience the next step of its happening. You know what I'm saying? Of its now. If anyone's really in touch for real, like no one ever really leaves you. You feel me? Like that's why it's really good to
Yep.
pick up to be on some Buddhist shit or be on your Zen or spiritual shit, because I mean like the general belief of it is really just like being one with everything, and like the people who are inside your life today, you definitely like these are your forevers. You gonna see different versions of them in your different lines. You know what I'm saying? Like there's always gonna be a D-Lo, there's always gonna be a Rambo, there's always gonna be a Mick. You feel me? And all different versions of us everywhere. So with that being said, like you never really separated for anybody for real, and I can say that, and that's facts, cause family member that passed away, and like a week or two later, I seen him in my dreams, had a whole conversation and everything. Feel me? And it was really touching to me because in real life we never really had like real conversation for real. In real life it was always like, oh, what's up, grandpa? Give you a hug. We'll do maybe play some checkers. I ain't never beat him in checkers before. That's just the normal shit we would do. You know what I'm saying? He may bet me $5 if I can make a couple 3-pointers. You know what I'm saying? But that's the most. You know what I'm saying? I never actually had like a real conversation for real. And within that dream I had a real conversation with him, and like it felt mad genuine. And people say like when you travel, right, to see different spirits in the astral realm, the spirit is always in their ideal of heaven. And like
Hmm.
check this out, right? In the dream, I was like in this fancy Italian restaurant. Feel me? He was Italian. You know what I mean? And he was surrounded by a whole bunch of people his age. You feel me? Like I don't know if it was people he knew or not.
Hmm.
Like it looked like the type of spot he would chill at, and he had like a big ass chair he was sitting on too. Like he had a chair in his real life crib, and he had a chair in his dream, in his dream I had. So long story short, like that made me feel connected. That made me feel like, all right, like he never leaving me. He never gonna leave by my side. Like he's always gonna be there. And that's with everyone. That's with like everyone inside my life. They don't even got to be meaningful to you or anything. I mean, we're all just spiritually connected. You know what I'm saying? Like the spider web. Like everything is a pattern. You gotta study your emotions. That's what I do. I study my emotions. I start feeling a way and I don't like the way I'm feeling. I'll take a deep breath, bro, and really just think about it. Like, is it really that deep? Like, what's wrong with me? You feel me? And I feel like that's always the right way to go about things. Cause we can just get the deeper understanding of what's actually happening. With that way of thinking, just in harmony with everyone. So at that point, every outcome is going to be a positive outcome. And I know that it sounds hard to believe, but fairly true, right? Because put this in instance. Why is it so easy for the bad shit to happen? For terrible, horrible shit to happen. It's so easy for horrible shit to happen, right? But people look at you like you got three eyes if you say, oh, there can be a world with just straight positivity and just straight happiness. But there's countries out there right now that's literally going through hell, and the worst possible shit is possibly happening to them, right? And so with that being said, duality. You feel me? If that's happening, then there's somewhere inside this world where it has to be pure positivity, right?
Hmm.
So I know I'm not tripping, you know what I'm feeling, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like I got the answer to it. I feel like niggas can really reach pure positivity. That being said, definitely starts off with controlling your emotion.
Recently, like meditation has helped me a lot too. As like you guys know, I went to the hospital and all that shit.
Yeah.
And so when I got back, I started meditating every
Hold on,
morning.
I don't mean to cut you
And
off. Elaborate about you going to the hospital for the people that watching this and don't know.
so I deal with like really bad anxiety and what people call mental issues or whatever. I know it for a fact. I've already been diagnosed, and so it makes some days a little bit harder. And that's where the paraphernalia, aka drugs, come in. You know, addiction is something that really can take the reins of your life. And they don't do it so smoothly. It's like a smooth talking girl or a smooth talking guy for the women out there or for whoever, all due respect. But drugs, they do cause codependency. And before you know it, like, you're going out to buy that next hit or buy that next six pack or something like that. That's why I do believe that they should even make alcohol illegal. But me personally, I prefer marijuana, but even that in excess is bad, just like anything. So what I really think they should do is just, I don't know, it'll never end though, because you have to look at pharmaceutical drugs as well, and the fact that people, if they don't get drugs naturally, they're gonna fucking abuse prescriptions and shit, which people already do. But I think it'll become much more prevalent if we get rid of everything. So drugs are something that they've been used for hundreds and hundreds of years, but the main thing is what kind of mindset are you in when you actually do partake or crack that beer open or you know for all the other people that do any other kinds of drugs, like I said, I'm sure it's the same for them. But drugs are, you learn about yourself, but you have to treat yourself with respect in regards to the drug. When you're getting like too worked up, when you're not feeling right, that these drugs, based on science, which is proven by fact that these drugs cause all kinds of side effects and everything.
This is how you got into the hospital?
So I think what it was I was high, basically super high as hell, and I had a lot of shit, and yeah, I was super high, dude, super high. I bought some edibles and weed.
So, welcome to Cloud9.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
I ate way too many. Like, I'm talking within the span of 15 minutes, I had eaten like six, seven edibles,
Damn.
and I was like tweaked out of my mind. So I was like playing my game or whatever, relaxing. Nigga got a lot of shit in the back of his mind, and I felt like at that point in time, it was like a helium balloon getting overinflated, and then it just exploded. And like my heart, I felt like it would start beating weird, which now I know was probably really bad anxiety because I still do have it. It's just now I know how to control it, and it's weird. It's like always trying to tame a horse that doesn't fuck with you. It's pretty much what it is. And so I think I had started like freaking out so bad that I was literally about to give myself a heart attack. At least
Mm.
that's how I saw it in the hospital because I had a cardiac enzyme that's indicative of a heart attack. It was super high. I don't know how like I was not fucking going into cardiac arrest, but they actually had to sedate me, so I was out a whole day. Now, woke up Saturday morning and they're doing all these kinds of tests and shit. And then I even had to go for surgery, that was my first time ever going into surgery at all for anything.
No, damn.
And I
Yeah,
was
it's
like,
crazy.
wow.
Nah, how
Hmm.
does surgery feel? Like,
I was awake, but they just used anesthetic, but it did hurt a little bit. Like from a 1 to a 10, the initial pain was like a 6 or a 7 because they had to stick that little tube in my vein and they had to go all the way through my heart and they shot dye into my heart to see if there was any blockages or anything. But there weren't any blockages, and that just goes to show it's amazing how the mind can affect the body. Like I don't have like plaque in my veins or anything. I do use nicotine sometimes, not all the time, and nicotine constricts your blood vessels. So probably me actually panicking and like having nicotine in my system probably just made it worse by constricting my blood vessels. So I ended up being in the hospital for 5 days, 5 long days. I was kind of depressed as hell, but yeah, I told my friends to cash app them $20 to fucking bring me a Elf bar while I was in the hospital. Yeah, and they brought it to me, and I was like, yeah, this is great, this is great. But I'm getting more familiar with the things that I'm feeling, and I've done this thing like since like a couple years ago. I like to personify what I'm feeling, so that way I can kind of know exactly what I'm feeling if it ever comes about again.
So what are what are some emotions that you can't control? Control.
What are some emotions I can't control?
Yeah.
Yeah, now let me marinate. Hold on. First, let me express what I think about emotions first, and even that I'm gonna need to marinate for.
5 hours later.
I have a response already.
All right. What's your response?
You said what's the hardest emotion to control?
Yeah.
Grief, because it has to take its course. You know when
Grief.
you're not good, you know when you're feeling off, but
Uh,
you have to come to terms with grief if you want to grow past it and move forward a different way.
Alexa, what is the definition of grieving?
Grieving is a form of the verb grieve, which is usually defined as to feel grief or great sorrow.
Regret.
A deep
Yeah,
sadness.
regret and in a present moment lack of awareness, I would say. Like in a specific instance, just lack of awareness because like when my grandma's sister passed away, like I was like at home chilling out and my mom called me and she was like she passed away in her sleep and I was like, ah shit. And I was like and I was like not even like a couple months after I just got staked in the heart. And she helped me like through the whole being sad process because the nigga was sad as hell. And she ended up passing away a couple months after. And I was like, God damn. I was like, I thought God was fucking with me. I was like, is this really what you do, God? I was like, damn. And so for a long time, I was super angry about it. Super angry. I was angry, very angry. Just,
Hmm.
I don't know. I was angry, very angry. Like, imagine Bruce Banner's rage in a tiny little body. Like, like, like I was fucking livid, bruh. And I
Nah.
think
Feeling.
grief is something you have to completely accept in order to even move forward from it. Because, like, you're not always going to be angry, you're not always going to be happy. But when you're grieving and you're not truly over it, it can last a long time. It's
Yeah.
one of the longest lasting emotions, I'll say.
I mean, like that emotion is really bad because that emotion is like a grappling hook stuck onto the
Oh, yeah.
past.
Hmm.
You feel me? That emotion is really bad to feel. Cause bro, it's hard to unhook that motherfucker. Feel me?
Yup.
You be on that shit until next year. You know what I'm saying? New Year's revolution didn't even do it for you. For me, still thinking
Hmm.
about it. For me, and like, I definitely grieved in my life a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I still kind of do to this day, actually. And I kind of do it unknowingly because I really just want to forget about it. You feel me?
Well, you're not gonna forget about it. You just have to incorporate it. It's like, what can I do to make this feeling like less or even go away entirely? That's beneficial to you and not destructive.
Yeah. And that's what I
Like,
feel like. That's what I feel like I'm doing right now. Like, I feel like where it's at inside my mind is healthy. You feel me? Because
mhm.
right now I'm just playing the cards as is. It is what it is. You know, what happened, what happened. You feel me?
Yeah.
The only thing that I can do now is keep on playing my cards right and being a better and contribute to society, I guess. You feel me? And just playing my part where I'm needed at, is in the matrix or outside the matrix. I don't know. That'll be choosing for me later in the future. But somewhere in this cruel world, my part would be played.
Think who said the world is a stage and we're just actors? Was it Shakespeare? I believe it was Shakespeare.
Yeah,
And
nah.
that is indeed true.
Definitely a lot of fake personas out here. A lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not their real
Agreed.
selves.
Definitely agreed.
And that's the sad part of it, really. Like, I don't think no one really be like sinking that shit in for real. Like, they hear it and they be like, yeah. But nah, it's actually really sad. Like, niggas really be
Mm-hmm.
killing themselves over it. That's the main part of depression. They're actress. They don't even know. Feel me? They don't even know that they're acting. They're part of this whole game, this whole system. Feel me? That's what I was
Yeah.
feeling back when I was in high school. Feel me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even want to sound like that type of guy, but I mean, generally, I'm a pretty happy guy. But back in high school, you know what I'm saying, I was feeling questionable thoughts. You feel me? As in
Mm-hmm.
like hurting myself and shit. But
Mm-hmm.
never did it. You know what I'm saying? Never hurt myself or anything like that. But definitely had questionable thoughts and definitely felt like I wanted to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I was going to therapy and shit. But with that being said, like we were talking about grief, right? And we left off at. So as I was saying, like as that time through high school, you know, and that mindset that I had, um, I was just going through just a lot of grief. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just really trying to find myself, for real. And I feel that was definitely really hard for me. Definitely really hard to find myself. And yeah, and this shit is deep. Like I was trying to say before, um, life is just like people talk about this shit and they just be like, yeah, yeah, we know, yeah, or like only time they probably get aroused by it is when they see medication for it. Like, oh, that's really gonna help. But anytime it's some mindfulness type of action, you know what I'm saying, they don't fuck with it. And I feel like people really need to start taking in consideration that mindfulness definitely plays a big part in your life. You know what I mean? Like just being at a just being always being in a meditative state and just conducting good vibration is always just a vibe. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said though, controlling your emotions and getting rid of grief is definitely a step that you have to do to get on a higher way of thinking or just even different perspectives of life, if that's what you want to call it.
To get you to elaborate a little bit more on that grief, why was you grieving back then?
Not again too in detail,
Understand?
but basically, I just didn't know myself. You feel me? And I was doing a lot of things that my real self wouldn't have been really wanting to do. You feel me? I was a sheep. You know what I'm saying? Just following other people. So once I broke out of that cycle, you know what I'm saying, I was going through a whole lot of grief and just remembering all the wasted time. You know, all the way honestly until I was like 12 to 16. I mean, like all that, I wouldn't say wasted time, but definitely,
It's just time you could have spent better.
yeah, definitely time. Yeah, I could have spent that time way more pure.
My biggest grief in life. Um, I would. Well, there's a lot of things, honestly, and I like to consider them as like little stones in my pond or something like that. So When I was younger, I got into this good ass school or whatever, but it was academically hard. And around the time, my parents and everything were like divorcing and all that shit. And at that time, I was in middle school taking 7 classes, all high school classes.
Oh damn.
So I used to be up really late, like 2, 3 a.m. studying, trying to get work done. All the while, I couldn't concentrate. 'Cause that shit was tough. It was really tough.
Why couldn't you
So
concentrate?
because I had a lot of shit going on at home, a lot of toxicity, a lot of like not letting me prepare myself for my life that I'm eventually gonna have. And
Okay,
it's like,
okay.
yo, like there's no peace. So I couldn't concentrate. And my grades ended up suffering really bad because of it. And it's like, I could have done it, but at that point in time, I just didn't care because I never got the actual peace that I needed. So I ended up flunking out over one bad grade, which of course everybody knows Spanish class. I didn't give a fuck about that class. I was like, fuck that. I already speak Spanish. The fuck. So
I
I
feel
never did it because I didn't care. And so that's why I ended up leaving that school and going to regular public school. And I was like, damn, I felt like they kind of took that away from me too. Because they knew that going to that school was not going to be easy. Yet, like, they could not even, like, come to a source or some sort of something so that way I'd be able to concentrate. Because, I mean, you have to think about it. Your parents already have their lives set. Like, you don't. And so you're still like a dice that's constantly rolling. And you need that best environment to operate the best way you know how to. And what was it? Another couple of things that happened. So I do electrical work for a living.
wait, hold on,
And
real quick. Before you go into the next thing, I do got a question for you. You said you were
mm,
having some toxicity inside your household that was making you distracted and
yeah.
unable to focus on your academics and shit like that. The things you know now, the maturity you've grown over the years, looking back at those times, what way could you have handled that situation that would have been better, if there is any?
How I would have handled it better than having the knowledge that I have now. How
Yeah.
would I have handled that better? I mean, I could have stayed with my grandma. I would have definitely been able to focus over there, but I would say just have better control of my emotions. Then again, I mean, when you don't see that actual handling of emotions and just either just putting it off and stuff like that or gaslighting, it makes it very confusing. And it wasn't always like that. It's just at the moments in which there was a pivotal point in my life, like I felt like I could not concentrate to achieve the things I wanted to achieve
And why was that?
because the household was chaos and I was constantly either studying, working, everything like that. Like
Okay,
I
nice.
do like education, but at the same time I feel like it's so commoditized now. Like you have to be in debt just to learn about this world. Like the fuck? No. Stupid.
Man, they don't
All
even
knowledge
teach you
should be
about the
free.
world. They don't even teach you
They don't
about the
even
world.
teach you shit. They make you take classes that's not even related to shit like English and math. I mean, I get if you're doing engineering and whatnot and everything, but come on now. Not every fucking major requires English or some shit like that. It's just retarded. I think it's absolutely stupid.
But what
So,
was the biggest grief you went through?
I have none really. I have no big grief really. I mean, I had little grief. I really grief over about uh, like I don't know. Like the way I look at my life, bro. Like I'm so humbled compared to other people's lives. You know what I mean? So like the shit that did happen in my life, honestly,
Hmm.
I take it very light. To me, because it could be very worse. So that's how I'd be feeling. So I don't really be grieving that hard. So I just take it how it is.
Understandable, understandable.
Self reflection definitely is key. I know it's hard to be able to look back in your past, but for anyone watching out there, you have issues, you can't, you know what I'm saying, look past them, really analyze them, analyze the situation, and understand how they make you feel. That's why we were talking about emotions earlier ago. Really, you know what I'm saying, like really understand those emotions and how they make you feel in that situation, whatever your
Hmm.
past grief was you gotta understand your emotions. You gotta understand why you're feeling them. And honestly, it's a good understanding on how you're feeling them too. I mean, learn a little bit of brain science. Feel me?
Mm-hmm.
That'll change your perspective on some things. Yo, I was watching this news report, and this kid he smoked mad salvia. Alright, I'm gonna play the video, bro. I still got it. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna play the video for us. But he smoked mad salvia, and he left a note behind saying that the world doesn't matter, this and this and this, and just look how the people on the news perceive it. But when you watch the video, look how we perceive it. Is this it right here?
That nigga fucked up. Yo, that nigga fucked up.
Wait, what happened?
You see
That
that
don't
nigga?
sound good.
Damn. What does that say? Gardening on salvia. That nigga not even gardening. That nigga not even gardening. That nigga's just knocked out outside. Let's just say gardening on salvia. That nigga not even gardening. Nigga just knocked out on drugs.
Nah, facts.
Like one day he was playing Nintendo 64 at like 8 years old. And like this was somewhere in his future. And you just look at the thumbnail, like damn.
You're fucking disgusting. You kiss your mother with that mouth?
No, that's weird. I mean, I kiss her on the cheek if I'm like leaving out, but
Did you kiss her on the neck? Yo, you wow.
nigga, no.
This nigga be groping his bob, guys.
That's my mom. What are you talking about? Stop being weird.
You right. You right.
Nigga not even gardening.
Salvia trips were reshaping his mind, the way he saw himself and life and the world. He left behind a journal recording his new insights.
Our system of time has no meaning and is completely pointless in the grand scheme of things. Also, our existence in general is pointless when compared with everything else there is in the universe. Us earthly humans are nothing. The Brett that I knew and loved, he would never have said that. He would never have believed that.
You feel me though, bro? But you see what I'm saying though? Like, you see what I'm saying though, bro? Like the different mindsets that those two people, like the mom was like, oh, my son would never even say anything like that. Like, they look at it as some like scientifical fucking rocket science shit. I mean, like, it's just simple thinking. You feel me? This nigga feels pointless. His existence feels meaningless. That's what he's feeling right now. Feel me? Which, honestly, 100%, truly is, accurate. You feel me? But he's missing the other side of it, though. You feel me? Yes, there is a great deep depression when it comes inside of spiritual shit, but there's also a really high outcome. It's really making something out of your reality, making something out of your experience, knowing that your experience is forever now, forever happening, and forever going everywhere at every time. You know what I mean, bro? So just knowing that and just realizing that, life is just simply a game. Feel me? You must just play your cards right. Feel me? And you will get through it for sure. But perspectives definitely play a big part on this life. And as you've seen there, the parents probably still to this day don't understand what the kid was really talking about in the first place. The kid was lost, but he wasn't wrong though. And that's what niggas need to understand. What he spitting was facts. I mean, like, your life is fucking pointless, meaningless as fuck. There's no meaning to it at all. But it shouldn't be depressing. Because the other half of it is, this is the most beautiful nothingness ever. This is the most beautiful, meaningless life ever. You feel me? You can make something out of it. Feel me? And that should give you a sense of creation. Right? And that creation, you gotta create your own sense of purpose. You feel me? And therefore you move on with that purpose. You know, makes sense. I know I'm not tripping.
I'm Brody. No, you good. You good.
Nah, it makes
Yeah,
sense.
and definitely understand that. It's not that serious. Obviously having that mindset is not going to pay your bills. You feel me? I know a lot of people will say that and be like, "Well, thinking like that is not going to pay my bills." Well, it will make you motivated to pay your bills. That's all I gotta say. So you better get some money, nigga.
Before we end it, let's leave our podcast ends on some words of wisdom. So let's give our, each of us give our words of wisdom to, whoever watching this. Whoever want to start first can start first.
Never forget to invest in yourself, bruh. It's easy to become sidetracked with everything except for you. It really is. Because you might be feeling a certain way and certain things might influence you and it becomes your... Don't let anything else become your reason for living, basically. You got goals. Everybody has goals. They got shit they like to do. Who the fuck doesn't? So just do what you like, but also take care of your responsibilities. Like, time will let you know when it's time to make a decision or make a huge change. You'll know when you're ready. If you feel that you're not ready, go back to the drawing board, take care of yourself, eat good, don't abuse drugs. Drugs suck. They really fucking do. Trust me, I know. But, yeah, and I'm not even
Oh
lying when I say
god.
that. They do. But make sure to invest in yourself. And there's always different ways of there's different ways you can interact with the world to have the clearest mind possible that doesn't involve self-destructive behaviors or like drugs or anything like that.
100%.
And with that, I shall end my anecdotes.
Don't think about it too much. As in, you are simply just as smart as you were when you were first born, straight out the womb. There's no need to complex anything or put anything in actual serious thinking. At the end of the day, things happened. At the end of the day, you were birthed and naturally started breathing and walking and talking and gradually gathering an understanding of life. I mean, that can lead you to the conclusion of you made it so far without even putting no thought into it. Your childhood was so good for a reason because you put no thought into it, right? And honestly, that's how it still should be in the adult world, and you can still live like that. I know slavery is hard. I know you're going through well, some people may be going through mental slavery. Feel me? Maybe feeling closed, right? Or physically enslaved, right? Maybe in a job that they don't want to be at, working hella hours because they have to, right? And
Yep,
only
that was
thing
me.
only thing I can say to that is be strong, my friend, because
Yep.
life is not about being happy or sad. At the end of the day, it's all about experience. There's a lot of great mythological men that you can look up in all different type of religions, leading to mythological gods, or even to Jesus, or even ancient Chinese and legends. And you can see that their life was very difficult. I believe there is one tale of some pleb, right? He ended up turning into running an empire in China. You feel me? So with that being said, right, like you got to go through hell, and it only makes sense to go through hell. And I was telling this one kid in my old school how everything works off of tragedy. You feel me? As I was saying before in the beginning of the podcast, as I was saying, how America is in a spell. What I mean by America being under an evil spell, all this negativity is gonna unfold back on itself. The positive will outshine. So
Yep.
the hell, if you're living through a hell right now, my friend, only thing that I can tell you is stay prepared, because you do have better days to come, and it's worth it. Definitely is worth it. Yep, and that's my words of wisdom.
Take it. I like it. I like that, man. I like that. I like what y'all saying, man. My words of wisdom. He said, "Let me marry." No, my words of wisdom is things come and they go. Things go and come. Don't take life too serious. Some things last forever. Some things don't. Enjoy them while they last. That's my
Indeed.
words of wisdom. This has been Cloud9.
Nah, I gotta get a soundboard in this bitch. Don't worry, y'all. We gonna upgrade, nigga. We gonna see
God.
this shit.
Yeah, a fucking soundboard would be fucking clutch, dog.
Oh my god.
Not even gonna
Bro.
cap.
We gonna get that. Alright though, y'all. Cloud9 out.